Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today's card I am using some new release Lawn Fawn products. To start with, I am using some Uncharted Mariner at the very top of a stitched rectangle panel. I'm going to bring that color down just past halfway, and then I am going to go from the bottom up using gathered twigs. Now, this first inking, I didn't really think it was dark enough once I added the extra bits. So on top of this, I'm going to use this spooky forest backdrop. Was that the one? I'll have it linked. They're still new to me, so I'm having a hard time remembering what exactly they were. But I'm using that just as a guide for where I want my grass to be. And my goal here is to make a nighttime sky, and looking at this now, you can tell that it is definitely not dark enough. So I've used a grass stencil. I want to say that was Simon Says stamp. And then this particular cloud stencil, it's got tiny little cloud borders. And I want to say that was My Favorite Things. I will have them both linked if they're still available. But like I said, that wasn't dark enough, so I did have to go back in with a much heavier hand. And then I just repeated the process with the clouds and with the grass. Again, I was going for a more nighttime sky, which I still don't really think this was quite dark enough in the end, but the background of this card did end up being my favorite part of the card overall. To further darken my background, I am going to use some black soot just around the edges, just to darken it up a little bit. Now to make my trees and grass border not look so flat, I am taking the same inks and I'm kind of coloring over the black a little bit. Because this is an oxide, it will lay on top and you'll get some of that color on the black. Really, I just wanted it to kind of blend in with the scene and not look quite so separated. Next, I stamped out some wolves from the newest wolf stamp set called Wild Wolves. I believe that's the name of this one. And for this, I'm coloring them in a way I have never attempted to color anything, and that was just very dark, like you're looking at it at night. So I would not generally color the wolves this very dark brown, but I wanted it to, again, look like they were in moonlight where it was mostly dark. Now, I'm still not sure whether I loved this, like how it turned out. And I had briefly contemplated using grays to make it look more of like a black and white, but I wanted to tie in the brown from the background in with the wolves. So I'm trying to keep it the lightest wherever the moonlight would be hitting directly, and then the darkest where there would be only shadows. And if you really can't stand coloring, good news for you is I only show coloring of this particular one on camera. All the other ones were done in pretty much the exact same way, so I didn't feel the need to go over those as well. Now, for the tree, I wanted it to have some foliage, so I grabbed my 1 in a Chameleon flip-flop stamp set, and I pulled out the little leaf shape, and I'm just stamping these with black soot here and there all over my trees. Now, once I finished, I did think it needed a little bit of something else, but before I move on to that, I'm going to adhere my wolves to my panel. I'm just adhering them flat, trying to keep them free of the grass. Now, when I glued the tree border onto my panel, I did not glue the blades of grass down because I knew I would want to tuck things behind them. Oh, I forgot to show the coloring of this tiny little crow, but I did color it with cool grays and a little bit of a blue. Now, to add extra dimension to the trees, I got the Bayou backdrop die set and I just cut the leaves, and I'm taking the smaller ones and I'm just gluing them here and there around the stamped leaves. That way it kind of matches the actual tree branches where it's not completely flat. So I have some leaves in the foreground, and then some of them kind of look like background leaves. So now, because my sky is a nighttime sky, I felt like I needed to add some little stars. I'm just doing that quickly with a white gel pen, just adding dots here and there. And then I decided that the trees needed a little bit of extra dimension, so I'm just making small white lines here and there on the tree branches and the tree trunks where I thought maybe the moonlight would hit it. This isn't an exact science, so it doesn't really matter as long as it looks good to you. After that, I did add some additional blades of grass and some rocks, but I did forget to film that. So this is my final card. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll be back with another video soon. Bye!